Good morning, all. Welcome to yet another edition of Babu for Heritage YouTube video channel's Heritage Awareness Series. Today, we are going to talk about Madras. Let us see what is interesting things we can talk on Madras. Today, we are going to talk about Madras. When British developed India after its occupation, they were focusing on three cities, three locations, and three different directions. Mumbai developed as a financial hub, and Calcutta developed as administrative, comfortable, and arts and other things, whereas Chennai developed as a engineering center, and many of the innovations of the British occupation period was predominantly from Chennai. They have many aspects, and today, being Chennai's 387th birthday since Sir Francis Day converted a piece of land for ownership in 1639. This has grown into multiple areas, and today there are talks going on in the internet on various aspects of Madras. We are going to talk about the aspect of railways. What are the various railways and milestones Madras created, and the famous 6 lines and one time in terms of the railway related developments. So when we talk about the railways, we talk about 6 lines, that is 4 main lines and 2 sublines on this. Madras boasts the first railway company formed in India, and contrary to popular education, the first railway track, the goods track, happened in Chennai, and the first electric tram also was from Chennai. And when we talk about mountain railways, there are several. The first idea of starting a mountain railway also started from Chennai. They focused on the Uttagamand area. And when electrification happened, in terms of meter gauge trains, Madras was the first one. And Chennai also boasts in Tamil Nadu the longest bridge over open sea. We are going to see all this in detail in the next 30 minutes. In addition, we are also going to see how Madras created one standard time for India. So, the first railway track and transportation in India. So, when you talk about this, even normally we talk about Bombay being the first railway and other things, but again, there is a technical difference. Even before Bombay passenger transport started, Madras was a pioneer in railway track, and they were doing railways for moving luggages, and and it was operating way before the famous Thane Mumbai track started. Interestingly, in 1835, this is way before the 1858 location. So this is the first railway track from Red Hills to Madras, around 6 kilometers. This is mainly used for carrying granite for industrial and roadway use from Red Hills to the central town. And it used animals drawn wagons and experimental steam engines. And interestingly, there is a slope. So when the loaded wagon comes in, it easily comes in slope from redills up to downhills, and then return. The empty wagons are hauled by animals or by experimental steam engines. So this is the terminal looked like one of the old photos. And once it reaches the middle, it gets transshipped across the Cotton Canal along Rete Erie here, and also then connects to the Cochrane Canal, which was later integrated with the Buckingham Canal. And this railways existed for 6 years from Redills to Madras, and it was the first working railways in India. The next, when it comes to forming the first railway company, again Madras becomes the first one. People are more famous and familiar with GAPR, the Great Indian Railway Company, which was formed for the Mumbai Thana Railways. But way before this, Chennai started the initiative in forming a company after the 1835 railway track was done, and the first cargo train with rotor steams was doing, which we saw in the first slide. And by the time 1845, Arthur Cotton, who created the canal, also used for building the Godavari Dam in Dhaulaveswaram a similar railway track for cargo. Again, in 1845, Madras took the initiative and formed a Madras Railway Company for connecting Madras with the nearby Carnatic and other centers. Only later, 4 years later only, GAPR, Great India Peninsular Railways, was formed with the objective of putting railways in Mumbai. So, Madras is the first one to form a railway company. Then let us see how it proceeds to the next level. By 1851, MRC failed one time and then again revoked, restructured, and then finally they did the construction work of starting up to Menil, around 50 kilometers. Do you know where Menil is? Now this is the famous Coast Guard air station and the first primary railway junction beyond Chennai. This is the Great Arakkonam. So it is called Minnal. It is called, they have mentioned it as Menil. So that was the first railway junction, and then later on things were going. In the meantime, in 1852, there is one more railway work that starts in Solani Aqueduct in the Roorkee area for the steel and coal mills. Finally, in 1853, GAPR starts with the first railway passenger train. So, after the first cargo train, the first passenger train starts from Baikula to Thana, 14 carriages, 400 people, 3 steam engines. So, that was the start of the great railway journey and for passengers. And 3 years later, Chennai followed up with the line completing up to Arcad, and the first passenger train starts not from Central. At the time, Central was not there, so it starts from the traditional Rayapuram station, and this is the old picture of the Rayapuram station and the new engineered visualization of the old picture. So Rayapuram was the first railway station in Tamil Nadu, and this is where our railway started. Now, again, when it comes to the metro transport, city transport, we are the first one to go electric. Okay, it happens in two counts, one for electric trams and another for the electric suburban trains. Electric trams were introduced initially in many of the cities. Okay, it was introduced in um, 73 in Calcutta, Sealdah, Armenia, and then 74 in Mumbai and 74 in Chennai also. But the initial tramways were more of horse-drawn carriages. You can see one in Mumbai and another one in Chennai. But later on, Chennai took the cake of becoming the first electrified track tramway in India. And it expanded the network to a beautiful like metro. You can see this, the Madras electric tram. This was there till 1953. See the network. Even now, the current metro railways doesn't have this kind of a detailed reach. Such a beautiful network covering almost all the major locations at that part of city. Then coming to railways, you can't miss the charm of the mountain railways. India has got a very good UNESCO certification for mountain railways of India. Okay, so let us see how even in that Chennai and the Madras Presidency takes a cake in this. Primarily, UNESCO Mountain Railways of India contains of three major railways which are already certified, two in the tentative list, Mathurayan and one more. So you can see they are iconic and I need not mention the name for that. You can see and easily guessed it. Let me share some statistics about this. Darjeeling Himalayan Railways, known for very easy building. This was the first one to start functioning in 1881, 79. In 3-4 years, they completed it. The secret is most of the track is just an addition to the existing railroad, the cart road, and it is a very, very narrow gauge, 60 centimeter kind of a thing, very narrow. And you can see that in many things, the train travels between the shop and the road edge. So quickly done. And the gradients have been optimized now to 1 in 23, and it has got a tallest elevation. Goom station, not the Darjeeling one. The second and the one which is famous in our Tamil Nadu is the Nilgiri Mountain Railways, which was the first one to get planned before of 1789, but again finished late 1899. The challenge is due to the altitude, steep mountains, and the wide gauge. The difference is almost double width, and it requires more cutting. And in many places, the alignment is totally new, not like your Darjeeling, where it was coexisting along with the side, and every half a kilometer it crosses from this side to that. This is totally segregated one. And this was again got the UNESCO rating in 2005. The third and the smallest one and the cute one is the Kalka Simla Mail. Okay, again this was started only after the both are almost ready, and they learned from the experiences, and it was done fast in 5 years, and it got UNESCO certification 8. Again, the gauge is somewhere in between this, the proper narrow gauge, and the gradient is also very, very smooth, not like a steep 1 in 23 by the Darjeeling and Nilgiri. It is a gradual slope and highly handled, and the elevation is low. So, to sum up, Nilgiri Railways is a unique railway, and then unique for the first planning, and also the only rack and pinion kind of one, the geared railway. All the others are not geared railways. This is a geared railway due to heavy load and slope, and it carries lot of luggage traffic also. So this is the story of mountain railways. Now, what we come to next is the sugar railways. Okay, so we might have seen the Yelagiri Express, and this is the different express. So this carried the Padanir. This is the palm juice. This was in operation in 1914 and 40. So this was between your Kulasegarapatram and this is the called Therikadu. There is in near Kanyakumari, there is a huge pocket of fine sand which is totally red, very rich soil, and you have lot of palm trees growing in that area. So for the palm juice and other things, coconut trees, Kayalpatnam, one factory was started by Paris. So to service the juice and other things collected from here to get converted here, they had a railways. So this is how the railway looked like, meter gauge, and then cute little coaches and old one. This was called the Kulasegarapatnam Light Railways, 1914, and this goes across the scenic red sand Therikadu. See, now this is at this level. Earlier it would have been a wider land area. Now due to afforestation and others, it shrunk. It was only 46 kilometers, Tiruchendur to Vettiyamalai and Kulasegarapatnam to Udankudi, primarily to source the sugar juice and the palm jaggery finished products. So the factory was in Kulasegarapatnam, and people also traveled by the coaches, and interestingly for children there is no ticket. And then there are a lot of old reminiscent posts available in Facebook. I took it from one of the Facebook posts only. There's an interesting railways. Finally, it ceased its operation in 1940. So there is another interesting sugar railways which was done in a scenic Therikadu. Now, so having started like this, the Madras State Railway expanded, and by 1910, this is the network starting with here at Arcad and then extending up to Babu and then extending it to this one. Like that, many branches were developed over a period, and this is the chronology. So we had 1837 first railway track, luggage carrying in Chennai, 1856 commercial line in south from Rayapuram, 1862 Trichy E-road connection and Baipur extending up to that is done. Till such time it was like this, and then Kunnur, Ooty, that segment also expanded here, somewhere here, and then the 27-29 made things very fast where the card lane got developed. This line got developed. Earlier it used to go like this to Trichy and then go like this. Earlier card lane got developed and the line to Rameswaram also developed. In 1908, Madras Egmore was built up as a separate terminal for the Madras and South Maratha railways. By 1914, the traffic from here to the Dhanushkodi was started when the 1914 Bomben Bridge was there. At the time, until it was closed, it is still India's longest railway bridge over open sea. So that is another unique thing. In 1931, you have the suburban train in Chennai got electrified with electric meter gauge, and initially the British coaches and then Italian Breda coaches and everything started playing, and later on ICF started manufacturing coaches. In 1951, Madras become the head of Southern Railway Zone with the merging of Maratha, Madras and Southern Maratha Railways and the Mysore State Railways into one zone which covers the entire area. Later on, it splintered to 7 or 8 zones nowadays. Again, the latest development is last year, the Pamban Railway Bridge, earlier which was damaged, has done service of more than 100 years and now it is creating structural issues. So, a modern bridge has been done with the first lift over kind of a bridge, and still it is the longest one over open sea. So, this is how in the development, again, we hit two unique things. One, the electric meter gauge one, and then the longest bridge over open sea. That is again unique things for. Now, when we talk about a location, what do we do? The timing of this. When we have the times, okay, we don't know what are the various times that are followed in India. So, India is a wide country and there are multiple differences between this and this. So, how to identify a clear point is by the latitude and longitude. Okay, so when you say Chennai, you say 13° for 6 north and 80 14 east. Okay, now we say that we go into Google Map and see it, but how this data was developed in the earlier time, that is another interesting area where Madras contributed a lot. Before going into this, let us understand what is the latitude and longitude. Okay, now the polarity equator, this is the latitude. So when we have the globe, there are two ways of splitting it into lines. The first way is right horizontal lines, which is latitude, and the second way is from top to bottom, draw lines. So in this case, the equator is the largest line, and as you go down, which is smaller lines. Here, all the lines are same. When we talk about latitude, okay, the central line is equator, and we have two things: Cancer, Tropic of Cancer, and Tropic of Capricorn. Primarily, these are the last points away from equator where at noon the shadow is vertical, and then there is no shadow. Okay, during equinox, beyond a point that doesn't happen. Okay, so when you want to identify a point, you need to say where it is, how far it is from equator. That is one point. The second point is how far away from this. The problem is in here, there is one central line which is universally accepted, no question. But when it comes to this one, every 10°, total 36 lines are there and many lines in between. So where do I identify this? Which one I take it as a prime point? Okay. So again, now we say Greenwich Meridian. Why Greenwich Meridian? Greenwich Meridian was going through Britain, and then in 18th century when all this development happened, Britain was the ruling world, so whatever is Britain says is accepted to the whole world. So that is how Greenwich median came into place. But was it the only median? No. Before that, there are many medians, prime medians in history from ages. In 2nd century itself, Ptolemy fixed Cape Verde somewhere here as the central period, and then from here he did this calculation. In India, from 4th century itself, Surya Siddhanta mentions Ujjain as the central meridian, for all our calculations. In 1541, that is 16th century, Mercator created one in a slightly different location, somewhere near Canary Island. That is, it touches the Spain line. And China doesn't accept all this. 16th century, they have their own meridian which goes through Beijing. Okay. In 18th century, in Chennai, they wanted to do experimentation and then start a survey. So they did something and then proposed Chennai as the meridian. Again, there was parallel work going on in Britain for analyzing and working out a geometric survey. But the proposal and final acceptance of Greenwich as the median came little later. Even before that, 1802 onwards, Chennai meridian was very widely used in Chennai as a reference. So now all over the world we use Greenwich. Again, for India, for our own standard time, we use the meridian that is passing through Allahabad. Whatever is the time there is the Indian standard time. Okay, so we have many prime meridians. Now let us see what is that interesting thing about Chennai on 1802, how it happened. The 1802 was start of the Great Trigonometric Survey of India, where like US, like Britain, which was done earlier, they wanted to measure physically instead of having a rough sketch maps. So Chennai Observatory was made as a median, and then they started measuring in triangles, and then they completed first 360 miles. Okay, so they thought in 5 years they will finish it, but they didn't. They underestimated badly. It took 70 years and completed on 72. So this is the now basis for calculating length of one arc of degree among the earth surface. So this has been the basis for this. Okay, so it has gone through lot of effort, sacrifice, modification, and scientific refinements. That is an interesting. Um, I have done a parallel presentation earlier on the Great Trigonometrical Survey, which you can share it in the net. So, like we saw earlier, in Greenwich, we have a central location from where all your meridian measurements are taken. So, what is the meridian location for Chennai? This is the great Nungambakam Observatory. If you go to the observatory, you see a pillar. This is the center of universe at that point of time. So this is where the median was defined, and there is an inscription which shows that the original transit equipment, and this is the geodesical point which identified as the base for the primary position. Okay, so how do they measure it? Once you know the first location and an approximate longitude of the thing based on stars, then you start exploring. So you have 1 point Nungambakam, and we need two tall points. One is St. Thomas Mount, Flagstaff. The other one, the Perumbakam Peak, that is near the Siriseri, not Siriseri. This is near Sholinganallur, Perumbakam. So these 3 points were taken for measurements, and once this is the triangulation. Once the distance between 2 points is known, okay, and verify the angle BAC and verify the angle CAB, then based on the equality of ratios, you can identify BA and AC, and finally build other triangles from the C and B nodes and continue. So this is the basics of triangulation, where you know one base distance accurately, and by the angles you arrive at the other two and then proceed. So for sighting of this, they used Aldebaran, which is the right horn of the Taurus, the V-shaped constellation, which you see in this. The first star, the right horn, is this is known primarily due to its fixed clear declination with the pole star. So once you know the declination of Aldebaran, from there you can arrive at the declination with pole star. So this is how it started. So from here, they started identifying the distance and longitude. From there, they started. This is Fort St. George. This is your Perumbakam, and this is St. Thomas Mount. And from there, they did another triangulation to Pundamalli and Tandarai, and then Tiruvallur, Sriperumbudur, like that. They kept on building triangulation and identified how they are differing in latitude from the 0 point. So your 0 point is longitude for 0 point is Madras Observatory. From there it goes into east, and then from here it goes into west. Okay, so this is how it is calculated, and this is the longitude from Greenwich. So at that point of time, from 1801, 1805, your Madras Observatory and Madras become the central latitude and a reference for time. So whatever time is in Madras, if you want to know what is the time in Tiruvallur, you adjust for the longitude difference and arrive at the local time. So this is the logic. Like this, in triangulation, they extended to the whole of India. Okay. Now let us see this. The times of India. India is a vast country where your latitude and longitudes are different. Okay. Your longitudes comes from 97.5 this extreme to Gormoti this extreme. So a difference of around 2 hours. When you say that, when one longitude 15 degree moves, there is a 1 hour difference either ahead or behind. For each degree, we have a difference of 4 minutes. So India has got 2 hours difference for 30-degree difference. So the extreme point is here on Prayagraj is our central point, and the next one is your Ujjain. Ujjain, which was the earlier historical meridian, and this is still the meridian for all our Panchankam. Now, Madras is somewhere here in 8025, and then Bombay is behind schedule in 70 to 80. Calcutta is ahead 8835. So everybody followed their own time. Okay. So Ujjain time was a very old time, and then Madras time, which was developed due to the 1802 trigonometric survey. It becomes a standard reference for all over India because all the differences are measured from Chennai. So it is easy to calculate. So Madras time becomes a standard. But Port Blair is somewhere over here. So it followed a different time. Bombay followed a different time. This was from 1884 till 1955. Calcutta followed a different time, which was around half an hour increase. Bombay followed almost 40 minutes behind. Indian Standard Time is the standard time which is available in this central line. Okay, and again, interestingly, there was one more time that was followed in Northeast, which was total extreme. They are 1 hour ahead of time. Primarily, this is used for the tea plantation and others, where the evening 4 o'clock it becomes dark, and then they were losing productive hours as per IST. So they shifted the timing 1 hour ahead so that they can do this one. That still continues, and it is an official Labor Act declaration. And the Indian Standard Time became an official time till such time this was Madras time was ruling. More than 100 years, Madras Standard Time was ruling the entire India. So when we talk about Madras Standard Times, it was followed in railways, and all the times are with respect to the Madras Standard Time. Here you can see that the Madras time, which is 30 minutes in advance of Bombay time, is kept at all stations of GAP, Great Indian Peninsular Railways. Okay. So similarly, Punjab and Delhi, they followed Jabalpur time, kept 23 minutes in advance of Lahore time. This is for different Pakistan and other things. Okay. So different times were followed in railways. It created a lot of chaos. Madras GAPR followed Madras time. Bombay Pune, they had half an hour difference. You can see this. And Bombay and Pune followed different times, which were around 7 minutes different. So when a train comes from Pune to Bombay in the morning for office work, they arrived always 7 minutes early. Very, very convenient. That was an interesting thing. When they go back home from Mumbai to Pune, they arrived 8 minutes late. Ahmedabad interestingly followed, even though it was at the far end, it followed Madras time. Okay. By 1870, when the railway network has spread, Madras time was announced as railway time, and it continued till 1906, around 25-30 years. Okay. By 1880, all the references, Newman, Indian Bradshaw, and everything followed Madras time. In some of the northern regions, they also give two tabular columns, one for Madras time as well as for the local time. So that is a story of a standard time, which was not standard, and we followed many things, and how Madras, in lieu of starting the trigonometric survey from Chennai, this became a standard for 100 years. Later on, when we started adopting 1906 Indian Standard Time. Okay, right. From 1906, let us see how the railways maintained the standard time. Okay. So railways is done spread over a huge area. How do they sync up and then ensure that they arrive on this? Okay. So once they started IST, every station had a standard issue pendulum clock at all railway stations. Okay. At 12 o'clock, from the central location, there will be a ring going on to all the stations, and then based on the ring, they will reset the clock, adjust the clock so that they are in sync. Okay. Later on, when the telegraph system and other happened, there was a signal from the head office or regional office to sync the clock at 4 p.m. When so through telegraph, they will give a coded signal, and then they will adjust the clock, pendulum clock, hand watch, and other things to a clock at the zone. Nowadays, we do atomic time, and then most of our syncing happens through your mobile, where the internet, through internet, they connect with the CCM clock which is available in India. From there, it is synced up. Either the sync up is through internet or through your mobile tower network. So, from 1947, they use wireless network and radio time signals to synchronize the clock. for the exact timing. So this is the story of the times of how railways developed in Madras, which had unique four railways and then two sub railways. The first railway company, Madras Railway Company, the first goods railways, the Red Hills to Red Hills to Chendadiripet, and the first electric tramway in India in Chennai, and the first mountain railway work. The work started in Nilagiri first, but it was completed second. Similarly, the first electric meter gauge suburban, which started from Tambaram to beach, and also the first standard time for India, except the Ujjain, which was spread across multiple Jadagams. During British time, the first standard time was Chennai Standard Time. It worked from 1802 till 1906, till the Indian Standard Time started defining. So thank you for this. Like this, there are many videos, interesting videos in the Babu for Heritage initiatives, and then do like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So thank you. See you all. Hope you enjoyed this video. You can also view my video on the Great Trigonometric Survey, how it started in Madras, and the entire country was mapped based on one single coordinate from Madras Observatory. So that is another interesting 30 minutes video which is available in my YouTube. And please thank you for the support and look forward to see you in the next videos. Thank you and bye.